And just remember, Doug, you always look at the camera with the light. There's a big light bulb on top of it. And oh, we're on.
You see, I'm in
I
the
didn't
theater.
see the light. Huh?
I'm in the theater.
Well, theaters don't have bulbs on top of cameras.
Just exit signs.
Welcome to Cookin' Cheap, Larry Bly, my friend Mr. Doug Patterson, and I'm chopping onions in anticipation of something we're going to do that we don't even know anything about yet.
I know.
Isn't it funny how we always know what the letter from the witch is going to say before she ever actually comes?
So psychic, I just don't know what to say.
It is true. Let's see what the witch has to offer us today.
Oh.
We have a new witch operator, and he's
and you
wonderful.
Can tell.
Look at him, he's right on cue. That other one goes to sleep sometime. See if he can catch.
Oh, close, but no cigar.
You can do that too. Guys,
is that us?
Yes, sir. Did you know that soup was invented by the Count de Sales at the turn of the century? You've got this one figured out already, haven't you? Unfortunately, the Count picked up the name Soupy Sales shortly thereafter and was disinherited by the Count de Campbell, another soupy relative. Could you guys, and Doris, wherever she is, she's wandering the halls, work up some soups for those of us who don't have a can opener? Sous de jour of Lexington. Don't step on the line.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sous de jour of Lexington. Well, it just so happens, as a matter of fact, that there you go, that we are. I'm going to do the world's simplest French onion soup, and you've tasted it because I did it the wrong week and I gave it all to you and you took it home and ate it, and so you liked it, right?
It was great. I can't wait to have it again.
And that was sent in by a fan from Philadelphia.
We have one there?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
we do.
Cool.
And what are you doing?
I'm doing pepper pot soup. It's the longest recipe in history.
Well, and there you go.
And it's sent in by, I put the old Speckarooskies on, Carl Brown Jr. of Norristown, Pennsylvania.
And a little bit later on, Doris is going to make a curious...
a what?
A curious sort of appearance on the program. Boy Scout chicken potato soup. There's,
okay.
I'll just stay away from that. Sent in by Franklin Mullins of Haysi, Virginia.
And where?
Haysi.
Never heard of it.
Mm-hmm. That's true. There is a place. I used to work for a bank that had a location there.
Really?
Haysi. And poultry stew. How's come you did two of them today? What is that all about? Yeah. Sent in by Joanne Kuczynski of Dry Fork, Virginia. I remember when it used to be wet fork. But
man,
anyway,
speak with forked tongue.
Oh, we're off to a ripping start already.
A long day.
First thing I have to do is get some onions in some butter on top of the stove. 4 cups of thinly sliced onions, and I'm going to do that right now. And I got the butter already hot in the pot. And this really is a good recipe. It's real simple, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it a little fancier than what they are. You can take this basic recipe and add a few little flares to it and make it much more interesting. But it's a good basic recipe, all right? And we got some onions going here and a little bit of butter on top of the stove. And what you do is you just actually just fry these until they are translucent. Not opaque, not transparent, translucent. So anyway, put those in there, and they don't have to stay in very long, okay? Go ahead, Mr. Douglas, tell us what you're doing.
Well, Lair, I've told you, this thing is like the longest. I was up to 2:30 this morning.
It's a big soup.
It took forever.
3 people to carry it.
It did, but it's going to be good because it has everything you could possibly want and then some in it.
Well, it has something that I don't like in it right off the bat.
Well, I don't care what you like and what you don't like.
Well,
I'm
snappy with me.
I'll call
Walk right out of here. I got other things I need to do.
Okay.
No,
well, anyway,
I don't like those slimy things. That you're doing.
I'm about to do some okras.
I think that
okra... This is the South, you know.
Well, I think okra is an acquired taste. I am from the South. Actually, the free state of Maryland, but I grew up in the South. But okra.
I think they're kind of
If you fry them, they're okay.
And that's
if
what
you
we're
boil
going to
them, they get
We're going to
slimy.
fry them first, then we're going to boil them. But anyway, this recipe starts off with...
But don't overdo yourself.
For an hour, you simmer a pound of shin of beef and a half a pound of salt pork, and you simmer that for an hour.
A what of beef?
Shin.
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 Chin?
Shin.
Shin. What is that?
Double shin.
No, shin.
Oh, I'm sorry. What?
What is a shin?
Shin of beef. I use beef for stew. I use stewing beef.
Now let's pretend like let's
We're gonna
pretend
cut it like this.
like Doris's leg. Okay, now which part of the leg would it be? Oh, it'd be this. The shin.
That's what I said, shin.
Okay, thank you.
Right.
Gee, Doris, I didn't realize you could still do that. That's amazing. Did you see that? I had to. Well, anyway, go ahead.
Then you take a pound of kale and a pound of spinach, and you boil that up until it gets tender, and then here's the funny one, you have to puree it. I did it at home only because I know what the Cookin' Cheap blender is like.
Yeah, you've been watching the show too long.
You got it. So I wasn't going to take any risk. And then you add in all sorts of goodness. You put in an onion chopped, 1 clove of garlic chopped, 4 scallions. Use both the green and the white parts. Some dried thyme, a ½ teaspoon. Fresh hot green chili pepper. Can you stand? I know you don't like hot things, but too bad. And a ½ pound of yams peeled and sliced. And then you simmer that until everything gets tender. And I'm doing the last part of this because otherwise I'd be here until June.
Well, I think just talking about it, we may still be. I want to show you how to get around this thing of bouillon in cubes, waiting for them to dissolve. I take a little mortar and pestle, which here in Southwest Virginia they call a mortal and pedestal, or something like that. And you just put them in there. You got to have fresh ones, and you just boom. Look at that. See? That easy? Very simple. This calls for 5, and it calls for 5 cups of bouillon, and each cube makes a cup. If you put, of course, a cup of liquid in each one. Now, if I forget to put the liquid in, we're going to have a very dry soup. But we're not going to do that. So anyway,
it'll be like that.
But look at that. Isn't that neat? Isn't that a fast way to get it done? I just think
you're a genius.
Swell.
Did anybody tell you that?
Well, not a genius, but I'm smart. So anyway, and the onions are cooking over here. They're they're almost ready. You got to get them soft. I probably should have them covered. Miss Doris had a cover on it, and I took it off. So anyway, 5 of those. So the next thing we'll do, once that gets where it needs to be, is we'll get 5 cups of water. And for the moment, at least, that's all I'm going to do. Go ahead, Doc.
Okay, you take a tablespoon of unsalted butter. This thing is so salty. I think we could probably float on it if we could.
Well, you always have been an old salt.
And we're going to saute these little okras until they turn a lovely shade of brown. So here we go. Oh, it is good already, I can tell. And then we're going to add some more things to this when we get these okras to the way we want them and put them in the stew. And I call it a stew. I don't know why, because I think it's a lot of stuff and it looks thick as all get out. Now, come on, Larry, that looks great.
It doesn't seem to be doing very much.
What do you want it to do? Sing the national anthem?
Well, I expect it to sizzle and sparkle and fry.
Oh, I put a nasty top in.
Put the nasty top in.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
See, that's not going to make me love this any better. Putting the nasty stuff in isn't going to help make me like this.
It's so good and so good for you.
These are smelling so good.
You know, I love soup.
They need just a couple of more seconds, though, because you've got to get them fairly well on there. Actually, it calls for brown them, doesn't it? To a golden brown. Well, we don't have time for golden brown today.
Okay.
We have reached that point in the show where we're both doing nothing.
I know.
What do we do now?
I am sautéing. Well, I put another top in. I'm just having a bad day of this all
Let's just take 10
around.
minutes and watch you take all that stuff out.
Well,
What is all this sort of black stuff on them?
That would be...
Is that where you didn't wash them? Or
That's where I didn't like you.
What is that?
It's poison.
Are they bad?
I don't know.
I've never raised one. So
Was I Farmer Brown in another life?
Do these things like grow on vines?
Well, they're like little...
Do we know where they grow?
They look like little pepper plants.
Oh, like little bushes.
Oh, one got away.
Okay, well, enough of this. If nothing else is going to happen, I'm going to go ahead and conclude this recipe.
Well, I wish you would.
So what we have to do now is you add your liquid.
Yo.
That's 4 cups right there. And we're going to add all of our bouillon. That's got to go in there. Don't forget that. And I owe myself 1 more cup of water, which I'll go back here and get.
Do you know people who actually make the big old... This, I think, is a great recipe, but...
It is a good recipe.
The people that do that from beginning, with the beef stock and, oh, my goodness.
They go out and, like, take care of the old Bessie and,
Right.
you know.
Come
the
back
whole
in
thing.
and maybe the thing is ready.
This calls for 5 teaspoon of Worcestershire. There you go. It's a little more. And a quarter of a teaspoon of pepper and a little bit of salt. I don't think you'd need much salt. You know, bouillon by nature is fairly salty, but put just a little bit in. And a little pepper goes in there also. And then what you do is you will simmer this for about, an hour, something like that. But I'm going to take this beyond this recipe a little bit here in a couple of minutes and show you how to fancify this thing.
Is this like through the miracle of TV?
Yeah. You know, I was told, I know this is going to come as a tremendous shock to a lot of people, but last year I attended a cooking school. Okay, come on, yuck it up, guys. Cooking school at the Hotel Roanoke.
Did you sit in the corner a lot?
I sat in on the class.
Oh.
And the main chef there, Ron Loving, very sweet gentleman, taught us just lots of things.
Actually, I'm going in May.
Are you really?
Yep.
Well, it's a good school when they have it. They don't do it very often. But anyway, he was talking about making this stuff. Not only, he says that any good onion soup, French onion soup, is made from really good beef stock. But you know what their secret is?
What?
Expensive port.
Oh.
He says no soup should ever be made without some nice
So that's what
port.
jacks the price up $20.
That's why I have to charge $50 for a bowl of soup. But anyway, I thought you'd like to know that. Because I know
thank
you
you.
cook a lot of soups and stuff at home.
I do.
What have you.
Can't tell from this, but
Well, what are you doing?
I'm putting the
Are we
okra
gonna
now
do something soon?
into the soup.
Oh, okay.
Yum.
I want you to see this. I want you to see this murky mess in here.
Hey,
This looks like something. This looks like my creek.
it's
Looks
good.
right. Look at that.
This is a nice hearty soup that you can make a
murky.
meal out of. It's not one of those little wimpy things you have before dinner.
Well, now what do we have
This
to?
is dinner.
What do we have to do? We have to wait for it to boil, or what?
No.
Is that it?
Look at this.
Is that the whole soup?
No.
Oh, thank heavens! I was going to say if you're finished. Now what else you need to do?
Now I need to open, and I know you're going to love this. You put in 4 ounces
Is that cat food?
of shrimp.
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 Ooh, I love it.
Ooh, I knew you would.
I noticed you didn't cook this from scratch or anything.
No, because I
You
have,
can, can't you?
I have a little problem with seafood, ladies and gentlemen.
Man, was doesn't eat seafood.
for instance,
I've never seen. Is there any kind of seafood you eat?
Tuna fish,
Tuna fish.
out of the can.
The worst possible.
The
of
smelliest
all the
fish in
stuff,
the whole world.
smelliest fish in the world. He eats that, but he won't eat
Right.
shrimp and lobster.
4 ounces shrimp.
I
Badoom.
I don't understand.
Now tell me this is not looking good to you.
No, it's
Yeah.
looking green and murky. I expect a frog to jump out of there. It kind
Well-
of looks like the bayou.
Bayou.
Blue bayou. All right. Let me.
Okay.
Are you just?
Just about.
Oh, okay.
You just go right
Just
ahead.
let me know.
Don't let me stop you.
I'm going to show you how to fancify this recipe a little bit. I think that every good French soup, the shoop song, should have either French bread, a big old wad
Yum.
of French bread, or croutons. If you're really lazy and you don't want to buy the big thing of French, you want the croutons?
Love them.
You want those? I brought the French bread. I thought you'd like to have the French bread, but you want the croutons.
These are great in it. And you don't have to put any of that cheesy
You don't
stuff
have to
on
put the
top.
cheese, but I'm going to anyway. This
Okay.
is cheese and garlic flavored farm croutons. These were raised on a farm.
Oh, the poor little thing.
Anyway,
They have-
and see, the good thing about this is not only does this fancy this up a little bit, but it also, talk about cooking cheap, it makes the recipe go further. That's a good trick.
Where's it going?
There you go. Well, you get more cups and all that. So anyway,
We've
what
been
I'm going
known
to
to
do.
be in our cups.
So what I'm going to do.
We'll get lettuce.
Okay. Now, look at these. Aren't these cute? What do they call these little things? Ramkins?
Crocs.
Ronkins?
That's a crock.
It's a crock, all right. That's a crock. So anyway, you put that in a crock. The very lovely Sandra Ferguson got me these as a little Christmas gift, and I just thought they were lovely.
Oh, they're lovely. They are lovely.
And Sandra,
I'm very
we love
impressed.
you, and you can send your check anytime. So anyway, put that in there, and lots of liquid. Now this should have, pretend like this actually, was round for an hour, simmering. And then what you do, well, I'll tell you what else we do in a second.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I need a cup, a measuring cup.
Here's a big old thing.
Well, I don't need that big, but I'll take it.
Well, I mean, it measures down to quarter cups.
Here comes a little secret ingredient that'll just work your nerves to a far thee well.
What is that?
This is, yuck. It's a mess is what it is.
What is that?
It's-
Murky looking stuff.
Oh, you're going to scream if I use that, aren't you?
No, go ahead.
I'll use the spoon. This is...
We do supply spoons here at the station.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I know. This is cream of coconut.
Ooh. You're kidding. In a soup?
In a soup.
Is this a sweet and sour type soup?
This is, I think this is almost Thai. It has all sorts of little thingies in it.
Huh.
That...
Well, this stove is so funny. I've been waiting for it to boil for like 20 minutes, and I turned it off, and now it's boiling. What's that all about?
Uno cuppo.
Okay, go ahead.
Cream of coconato.
Ooh, boy.
And you let this simmer for 5 more minutes, and you've got yourself a taste treat.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take just a little bit of mozzarella and put it right on top of there. You know this is good with all this cheese and all this stuff. Put just a little bit of mozzarella on each one. We're going to put it underneath the broiler for a couple of minutes while Miss Doris comes in and talks to us. Don't talk till I get back, Doris. Be right with you. Oh, dear, that's going to get hot, and I'm going to burn myself just like I did the first time I did it. You'd think I'd know. I've been around the park. Anyway, and now, ladies and gentlemen, the lovely Doris. Hey, Doris. Doris has just brought in a bucket of soup.
It's sort of like the white version of mine, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it looks pretty. What kind of soup is this?
This is the Boy Scout soup. And
100 Boy Scouts.
Really, it called for 8 medium-large potatoes cut in half-inch chunks, 2 cans of mixed vegetables, 2 cans of white chicken, 1 bag of chicken-flavored noodles with sauce, salt to taste, a fourth of cup of cream, and a half to cup 4 blend taco cheese. Well, it doesn't say what to do with the potatoes. I didn't realize it until after I got it in the bowl. So could you hand me that 1 second? Now I can get some of it out, maybe. And the potatoes, there's no liquid. There's absolutely no liquid in this thing. So I added...
That's pretty gloppy, isn't it?
Really. And with the cheese and all, that's what it looks like. And I added, when I cooked the potatoes, I added water to it. And I'm wondering if the potatoes are supposed to be pre-cooked. Because if the Boy Scouts are out in the woods and whatever, maybe all the potatoes should be pre-cooked. And then you put this in and let it heat up, rather than cook it totally. Okay.
That's soup number 1.
So that's the first one. That's the Boy Scout one. Now this one...
Boy, them Boy Scouts make big soup.
Well,
Boy Scouts make big-um soup.
Because I had to put broth in it. And
oh, how festive.
Well, you can't even
but
lift
that got
it.
kind of whatever.
This is a soup?
Well, isn't that pretty?
No, this was a stew, wasn't it?
Well, you're asking
I got to turn the page. It's called a poultry stew. It takes 2 cups of broth, 2 cups of cooked chicken or turkey, a bag of frozen mixed vegetables, 2 ribs of celery, 1 onion chopped, 1 package of chicken or turkey gravy, 2 tablespoons cornstarch, and 1 tablespoon of poultry seasoning.
It looks like maybe you got some sponges in there too, because it's a little dry.
But right, it was.
You mean?
No, I had another.
No, it is dry.
I think there's another little dish right now.
There is another little dish.
I can get some of this
You're
out.
a little dish too, my dear.
See, it turns like a pot pie.
Wow.
More, but it says cornstarch to thicken, but I didn't see where it needed any thickening at all.
We're all a little leery of cornstarch.
So I'm
now.
not too. Yeah, I'm not. After the last.
Got to get my recipe. Well, thank you. We appreciate it.
I'm going to move it.
Very lovely. French onion soup, 4 tablespoons of butter, teaspoon of salt, 4 cups thinly sliced onions, 5 cups of beef bouillon, teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce, and a 1/4 teaspoon pepper.
Pepper pot soup, 1 pound shin of beef cubed, 1/2 pound corned beef or salt pork cubed, 2 quarts of water, 1 pound kale or collard greens chopped. Oh, that's what I forgot to do. 1 pound of spinach chopped. Ooh, well,
Time till he forgot that.
1 onion chopped. 1 clove of garlic chopped, 4 scallions chopped, use both green and white parts, a 1/2 teaspoon dried thyme, 1 fresh hot green pepper chopped, a 1/2 pound of yams peeled and sliced, 1/2 pound of fresh coconut peeled and sliced. I didn't put it in, kids, because I have a little problem with coconut. And salt, freshly ground pepper, a dozen okras, tablespoon unsalted butter, 4 ounces small cooked shrimp, and 1 cup of coconut milk.
That's an awful lot of stuff. Now, is that finished? Is it done? Is it edible?
It'd be done.
Is it going to look at this? Isn't this pretty? Haven't I just knocked myself out on today's rate? Normally, the very lovely Miss Doris comes in with an A on presentation, but I think today that I have ruptured myself, literally. With,
and rightly so.
So mean today. I thought we were going to go watch a movie after the show.
I had a bad day.
Not so sure. I think I may just dying alone. Anyway. No, I wouldn't do that to you.
Yes, you would.
Yeah, I would do that. Yeah, I would. Now, what are you fishing for? Are you trying to get the slimy little things just for me?
Just for you, because I just know you.
You know, this soup is never going to win a beauty contest. It's the greenness of it all.
I got to give you that little hunk of orange. That'll just make you happy as all.
It's really awful.
Okay, I'm moving on.
Mine looks lovely, and
it is
and
good.
Doug's looks horrible. I'll have to be honest with you. I don't know what it is. But anyway, here.
Oh Lord, we just have.
Yes, I think we're loaded down.
Guess we can't do this.
We're loaded.
Look,
Oh,
bunnies and Snickers.
Why? It's the middle of summer.
It's the old.
It has been. Would you like one lump or two? There you are. The only soup that you can serve on a plate.
And I'll have a brownie on the
have
side.
some of this.
Ooh.
Soup also. That's a stew.
That's a stew.
That's a stew.
Oh, we just have so much.
Stews and soups and.
Okay, I'm trying the what is it?
I don't know. I think by the time I finish with this, I'm not going to be hungry anymore. I'm going to try yours, the mysterious green glump. Now, what is this big white thing? What is that?
Oh, don't eat that.
Oh, is that what do you mean, don't eat that? What's it in there for?
It's sweet.
Well, I reckon
it's
you put all that...
Do you want a big old hunk of salt?
Salt pork? I thought it was a potato.
Okay, kale. Kale and spinach. Go right ahead. It's kind of sweet, isn't it? And you just slopped it down the front of you.
I hate it.
Well, how nice.
I'm sorry. You know, I love spinach and salads, and I don't like it cooked, and maybe that's my problem. And then it's got... Can you imagine pouring syrup on top of...
This is a whole lot better than I thought it was.
Can you imagine pouring syrup on top of spinach? Well...
I'm going to try yours.
I'm sorry. I know whoever sent it in, it's lovely. It's darling, and probably somebody would like it. But not me.
I think Mr. Brown... Oh, Larry.
What?
Oh, for heaven's sake. Oh!
Well,
I'm going to try Doris's.
How indelicate. Well, you've already tasted mine there because you had it, a week or two ago.
And it is so good for you, and so yummy.
I got to tell you, both of Doris's are quite good. The stew, I've never heard tell of a stew that you could eat with, like... I
just burned my buds.
Your what?
My buds.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to try. Of course, this didn't cook nearly long enough. So
I think it did grace to play. It is hotter than blazes, but so good.
Well,
come on, this isn't too bad.
Well, the mozzarella cheese is great. Here, have some more of this soup, Doug. This soup is so big.
How big
I
is
just saw somebody doing a backstroke in this a few minutes ago. One of the staff members
went
on
down
the way
for
to
the third
studio.
time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, I tell you what, for the most part, I think that you would like this, what's this stuff called?
Pepper pot soup.
Pepper pot soup, if there were...
Nothing in it.
I don't know what. It's okay. It's a sweet and sour thing, don't you think?
Yeah,
it's
sweet and you're sour.
It's not even that. It's just a strange thing.
It's so good. I'm sorry you don't like it. I do.
Well...
And that's a miracle for me to say something like that.
I know. I have a fairly exotic taste, but anyway. So anyhow, somebody emailed me the other day and said you were doing a great job, but I should tell you and Doris to continue, now that Laban's not here, to do it, to continue to conk me on the head occasionally to keep me... Well, you don't have to literally do it.
Oh. I'll do anything for the fans.
But she said I have a tendency to get just a little goofy sometimes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I have no comment on that one at all.
Well, I tell you what, these are pretty good soups by and large, and you can do any of them yourself except for his less than 2 hours. What does that mean? Wrap it up? Or should I shut up?
15 seconds.
15 seconds.
Yeah.
I forgot what that meant.
It's just that he was happy to see you.
How could she say I'm goofy? Hey, thanks for coming by. We'll see you.
Bye.
Cookin' Cheap by visiting our website at cookincheap.com.
Cookin' Cheap is brought to you by Kroger. Quality, selection, variety. Let's go Kroger.
Let's go Krogering, the better way to shop.
And by the Park Oak Grove, the rental retirement community providing independent and assisted living services since 1989. The Park Oak Grove Retirement Community.
To receive the recipes for the 26 programs of the 1900 series of Cookin' Cheap, send $6.95 plus $2.50 postage and handling to Cookin' Cheap 1900 series, Blue Ridge Public Television, P.O. Box 13246, Roanoke, Virginia 24032.
Hi, I'm Deborah D'Alessandro, your lesbian and gay community connection.